conclusion of Disney Plus's Moonknight, it got me thinking. As a wild animal biologist, did Disney nail the depictions of hippos and crocodiles accurately? Welcome back to Shelby on Safari, the place where I, a wild animal biologist and lover of pop culture, often combine my two passions into one. Join me today as we do a quick look into the depiction of Taweret and Ammit in Disney Plus's Moonknight. Did they get it right, or were they a bit off the mark? So you ready? Join the safari and let's get started. So first up, let's look at Taweret, who in Disney Plus's Moonknight series was depicted as a hippopotamus. Now in our world, there's actually two different species of hippopotamus. There's the smaller pygmy hippo, and then the common hippopotamus. And it's the common hippopotamus that takes the title of being the third largest living land mammal on the planet, behind elephants and white rhinos. Now, oddly enough, hippos don't actually sweat. Instead, they need to rely on mud and being in the water to help keep them cool. So during the daylight hours, chances are you'll see them in the water. But then at night, they'll get out of the water, when it's a bit cooler, to go and graze for food. During their evening snacking, they'll eat about 88 pounds of food, which may sound like a lot to you and me, but actually the common hippopotamus can weigh up to 5 tons. Now in Disney Plus's Moonknight, we see Taweret is depicted as a hippo, which is pretty similar to how she's depicted in our real-world Egyptian mythology. The name Taweret actually means Great One, and she was typically depicted as a female hippopotamus with a female human chest, the back of a Nile crocodile, and paws of a lioness, which is a bit different than what we see in the TV show with her having human hands. Although I would say that worked out quite well, even though common hippos of our world have 4 toes that are actually webbed to help them with their aquatic lifestyle. However, the most interesting aspect of Taweret in Disney Plus's Moonknight was the ear wiggle. And yes, hippos of our world do make a snazzy ear wiggle movement themselves as well. Hippos can wiggle their ears and move them both at the same time. Now, notice where the eyes, the ears, and the nostrils are on the hippo's head, all towards the top. This comes in handy again for their aquatic lifestyle of being able to keep mostly cool under the water and stay relatively hidden, with still being able to breathe, see things, and listen out for potential predators. As you can imagine, with that aquatic lifestyle of the common hippopotamus, they get water in their ears sometimes, so hence the ear wiggle. Whereas us humans, you gotta put your head to the side and then jump up and down and try to get the water out. Yeah, I'd much prefer an ear wiggle if I could. This ear wiggle was a nice subtle touch that the creators put into Disney Plus's Moonknight, which indeed the common hippopotamus of our world really do. Really do? Really do? They really do wiggle their ears. Now, ironically enough, sometimes the common hippo can be a prey item of the one, the only Nile crocodile, which of course is the basis for Ammit. Now, the Nile crocodiles of our world aren't just limited to the Nile River, but in fact, they're rather widespread across sub-Saharan Africa and even in Madagascar. They're also the second largest crocodile in the world, typically getting up to about 5 meters in length. That's just about 16.5 feet long. Whoa, that's quite big. Now, while Ammit eats soles, the Nile crocodiles of our world have a bit more diversity in their diet, to say the least. What they eat truly depends on the size of the Nile crocodile and what stage of life they're at. So take, for example, young Nile crocodiles. They'll eat small fish, frogs, and insects before moving on to reptiles and larger fish. As they get older, subadults tend to eat birds, turtles, and some small mammals like mongoose and even Thompson's gazelles. And eventually, when you get to be an adult-sized Nile crocodile, you're in the big leagues, for they may eat ostrich and even pythons, but typically antelope, and sometimes, as I mentioned, Nile crocodiles may prey upon common hippos. Now we see Ammit has quite the opinion about the other Egyptian gods and tends to do things her way, whereas Nile crocodiles of our world actually have been spotted to sometimes hunt cooperatively, which must be quite quite the interesting sight to see. And like the Egyptian gods have been around for quite some time, so too has the crocodile. In fact, the crocodile has changed very little in the 150 million years that they've been on the planet. They must be doing something right. Now, in the beginning of Disney Plus's Moonknight, we often saw the depiction of Ammit in Hero's staff. And later on in the series, we saw the staff go from having 2 heads of Ammit to 1, and then with a sharp blade at the other end. When the staff transformed, we really got a good look at the jaws of Ammit, which is a key part of being a Nile crocodile. Not only do they have strong jaws, but also plenty of teeth in order to be able to grab their prey and drag it down underwater. One of the cool choices in Disney Plus's Moonknight was to give Ammit a slight eye twitch. Drew attention to her eyes. Now, the eyes of a Nile crocodile are like a superpower in their own right, even though technically their eyesight isn't as good as us humans. All things considered, they do have pretty good eyesight even at night. They can see a full spectrum of color, shades, and shapes. Now, you know how I mentioned they've been around for quite some time? Their eyes have evolved to be able to adapt to low light situations. Their eyes are way more sensitive than ours. They can use their vision to focus in on a specific object and see its main outline. And like how we saw the common hippopotamus have their eyes, ears, and nostrils on the top of their head to be able to stay submerged, so too does the crocodile. This allows them to stay fully submerged underwater and staying out of view from potential prey. But one of the coolest aspects of their eyes is that they can scan the horizon. Like they can see left to right or up or down without having to move their eyes like we do. This allows them to stay super still and again, not disturb the water to alert potential prey of their impending arrival. So with crocodiles relying heavily on their eyes to be able to hunt and successfully capture their prey, what does a crocodile do when a situation arises in which their eyeballs might be at threat? Say, for example, if they're fighting. Well, if the crocodile feels the need to protect their eyes, they can actually, get this, retract their eyeballs into their sockets. Oh. This enables them to take that next step in protecting their vision, quite literally. In fact, I wonder if Ammit could do this. Seeing as she's based off a Nile crocodile, that might come in handy if, say, you're fighting Khonshu. Okay, so we've covered the crocodile's eyesight above water, but what about below? Since they are living in the Nile River, turns out crocodiles have not 1, not 2, but 3 eyelids. Think of their third eyelid as kind of a pair of built-in goggles. This membrane allows the crocodile to keep their eyes open underwater without the risk of any dirt getting in their eye and damaging them. But does this mean that the crocodile has good vision underwater? Well, just like wearing a pair of swim goggles, your vision underwater is really as only good as the quality of the water. So yes, while if the water was quite clear, they would be able to see quite clearly, but in some parts, it probably is quite muddy and dirty, and the water visibility is probably not the best. But still pretty cool nonetheless. Now, the one question that I have about Ammit is, does she, like crocodiles, sleep with one eye open, if she even sleeps? Thanks to unihemispheric sleeping, the crocodile is able to take a break on one side and then take a break on the other side, essentially where one side of the brain takes a nap and the other side stays awake to look out for potential predators. And then, when one side has had enough, they swap over. So in Disney Plus's Moonknight, I think they did a great job highlighting some of the unique characteristics of both the hippopotamus and the crocodile. I'm just looking forward to hopefully a season 2, in which we may be able to be introduced to a few more Egyptian gods and goddesses. I, for one, would like to see Bast, although I'm a bit biased because, well, cats. I gotta be with Maui. Did you enjoy Disney Plus's Moonknight? If you did, give this video a thumbs up and share it with a friend so they can learn more about the real-life Taweret and Ammit. With Thor: Love and Thunder coming out real soon, I'm so excited! Be sure to check out my video here on what real-life animal is like Thor. You'll never believe just how similar Thor and a polar bear actually are. Go on, click it. I'll see you over there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in that video. Actually, wait. Thor is on my t-shirt. And Loki. Oh my gosh. And I did a video on Loki too, so highly recommend. Go check them out. Go on. And my shirt. I haven't done one on the Hulk yet, though. Maybe I should. Anyways, thanks for watching!